kept his eyes downfield, and threw a dime back shoulder ball. Ooh, that is pretty right there. I didn't know he had all that going on. That's very, very impressive. All right, we got another portal player breakdown. This time it's going to be on the new transfer quarterback from Memphis, A.J. Hill. All right, as we get into the tape, I will say from what I've seen on tape so far, I'm like, we got some competition in the quarterback room. KJ Jackson, a lot of people thought it was all sewed up. This will be interesting, and I'm all for it. I love competition. It makes people better. Iron sharpens iron. Let's take a closer look at A.J. Hill, 6'4", every inch of it, 215. Big kid, comes in as a 3-star transfer. I think that's about right. Maybe a little bit more he should get. I'll say that. He had 223 passing yards on the year, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Obviously, he didn't get much playing time. I was able to find the one regular season game where he got some good action. And it was this game right here when Memphis was playing UAB. You see right here, 3rd and 4 right here. And this is the starter. And right now, that's Lewis, okay? But on this play, on 3rd and 4, he ends up getting sacked and he gets hurt and he's out of the game. So finally, I was able to find some snaps of this kid from last year. And so let's go ahead and take a little bit closer look and see what he is bringing to the table. And I'll say this, man, I'm impressed. Even though I know this is not a large sample size. A lot of people on our breakdowns have said, well, it's easy to pick one play here, one play there. We watch as much as possible, but we can't sit here and watch all 12 games of the year, every single snap that these guys played. We try to watch a few drives back to back to back to get an idea. Even if it's a bad game, there's some small things that I think carry over to each and every week that'll let us know if this player is good or not. And what I've seen on tape with this guy, pretty good. Right here, pick up in a 2nd and 2. This is his first drive of the game. Does a great job being patient, doesn't force anything, gets to his check down, which is his tight end right there. Another situation right here, good scheme, understanding you got a guy in the flat to draw that corner out, and he's going to open up that throwing lane, and the timing of this is pretty good. I wish the ball maybe was in the air a little bit already, or at least winding up, but he has a quick release. I will say that. He doesn't have that really long, drawn-out release. It's a fairly quick release, which is decent. Then you get down to the goal line, 3rd and 3. Just no one blocked it on the front side of this, and so he had to. There's really nowhere to go. This is not on him, but his first drive in his collegiate career drives his team down there. They end up with a field goal. All right, let's go ahead and get to another one. Here's one situation when you kind of look at things develop and where the ball needs to go. You see all 3 receivers right now. You can't see one covered up because his name is down there. But based off the scheme, it looks like he's doing a great job keeping his eyes downfield, holding the safety. There's no receiver down there. So he's holding the safety, which I like. And now once you do that, you have to get the ball out. There he is right there. Release the ball. Like I said, first live action college game. So he's probably going through a couple things, trying to get timing and all that figured out. He missed one right there, but he ends up holding the ball. But this is what's going to be interesting with this guy. I think in this league, it's always a benefit when you have a guy who has athleticism. Right now, this looks like a sack 1,000% of the way, but he's able to get out of this, hand down on the ground, keep his eyes down the field, and then, yo, special. This is a big time throw. I didn't know he had this in his bag. I had no idea. Watch this. Watch this from this angle. He did all that scrambling, kept his eyes downfield, and threw a dime back shoulder ball. Ooh, that is pretty right there. I didn't know he had all that going on. That's very, very impressive. And so when I see stuff like this, I see somebody not only with the potential, but just with something that really can't be coached. You can't coach that. A lot of guys know that sometimes the right throw, would see a guy there, be like, oh, it'd be great if I could back shoulder that, but they just don't have the talent to make that throw. That is an awesome big time throw from A.J. Hill right there. However, If we go to the very next play, we get to some interesting things. All right. So he does have a cannon, and he's got to work on not only his accuracy in timing of getting the ball out sometimes, but he has to his depth. You know what I mean? Are we overthrowing, underthrowing? Is it right on the money? Where's the consistency? You see right here, based off pre-snap read, they're showing man-to-man coverage, and as soon as you snap it, safety stays in the middle. You know it's man-to-man. Usually man-to-man. This is where your shallow routes come into play, especially since they got jumbled up top. But here it is, mind. He had his mind made up before the ball was ever snapped. Okay, that's not good sometimes. All right, you have to sit back and see things develop. Keep the eye on that safety. See where we're at. The shallow route's coming wide open. It's 1st and 10. But he already had his mind made up, threw off his back foot, and yeah, you go from one of the best throws I've seen at the college level to what is happening. Big time overthrow right here. Let's go ahead and run this back and kind of break this down a little bit more. Sometimes when it's that bad, you think maybe you're on the wrong page with the receiver, but you can see this receiver right now. He's running a corner route because you got that receiver down low holding the other guy. So you have this little window between the safety and the corner to throw it to the sideline. Just a big time overthrow. I mean, and when I say overthrow, woo. So this is where it gets interesting. Like I said, I showed you some really good clips, and I'm going to show you some bad ones. However, when watching this game, I didn't see too many. Now, I didn't get the full game footage on this. So, this is really the only bad throw that I was able to find on tape where I was just like, that's not good. But if you go back to that game, I think he was 50%, 52% in his completion rating. So, not very good. One touchdown, one pick. So, I'm not able to see all of his decision making all the time. But a bad one right there. All right. So, let's go and get to this. Fourth quarter, 2 minutes and 22 seconds. How are you going to be in a situation where your team needs to score now and you're down 17-31? All right, so let's go ahead and pick it up. Does a great job right here, and they give him a little something to work with, something to give him some momentum, something to give him some confidence. I wouldn't say that's outstanding quarterback play by any means. Look at it develop from the backside right here. Pretty easy throw and catch. Tight end does a great job breaking one tackle. UAB awful at tackling right there in the secondary. So now we got a situation where they got the ball back. Remember, I just showed you it was 2 minutes and something seconds. Now it's 138. They got the ball back and they are down 7. We need a touchdown. Is that 7? Yeah, we need a touchdown. Got to go down and drive. Let's see how our guy operates right here. You got one timeout. You got a little man-to-man situation. They're pretty much showing it from the jump. And then you get another situation, usually man-to-man. This is where you want to hit your crossing routes. But I also know one timeout, clock is against you. You want to make sure whatever you throw, you get to a situation where it's going to be a first down or get out of bounds, okay? Doesn't see anything here. Scrambles, takes his time, makes the smart call, throws the ball out of bounds. I love it. Great decision for a freshman. Getting in some unexpected playing time. Threw it to the sideline. Guy doesn't get out of bounds, so they had to burn their last timeout. So here we go. Let's get to a 4th and 7. What you got for me, A.J. Hill? Here we go. Let's go ahead and take the snap. Sit back. Let's see the poise and composure of the young guy. Great pocket. He doesn't panic. And what I've seen from him, he looks like a pretty athletic guy. He doesn't seem so quick to run all the time. He's somebody who wants to stay in the pocket and make some plays. Like I said, I've only seen a half of football from him. I don't know what it's like all year. So does a great job, throws it into a nice, he throws it into wow. He's throwing it to the receiver so he can catch it in stride. It was a nice little man-to-man on the backside with some safety help over the top. Great route by the receiver. Great throw and catch. Great composure. Big time throw from the young buck. All right, let's get to a 1st and 10 situation right here. And then they bust one right here. I told you UAB awful at tackling in the secondary. So here we go. We get to a situation where it's first down. This kid did almost everything necessary to put them in a situation. They get downed at the 1-yard line. Okay. Then they get a penalty. And then they get this play right here where they roll out, get a great job. The receiver, you got to score right here. Oh, you got to score. Ends up being out on the 1. Then you get another penalty right here. They get pushed back 5 yards. And then the young buck, once again, gets in a situation where he's making his mind up before the play is called. This play is designed for this receiver I got highlighted right here. I think that's actually Hawkins, who's coming to Arkansas. He's going to have a delayed release. You're going to see it at the snap. Takes his time off the ball, and then boom. Ball needs to already be in the air for this play to work. All right. Now, he is a little bit short of the goal line, but you can maybe catch this and fall backwards. But sometimes, too, a veteran quarterback, even though this is where the play is designed, you still have to go through your progressions and see what the defense is doing, because we missed one right here, okay? If the ball's out earlier, you maybe get that, but look what develops. Key your defense, understand what they're in, understand who's covering who, because, excuse me, as soon as this guy comes down on this receiver he's trying to throw to, look what pops up right underneath him. That's what that's for. Okay, you always have options on these plays. If this is covered, then this will be wide open. But he had his mind made up before the snap. Now, I'm not going to give him much, much grief at all for this. Because like I said, he comes into this probably not expecting the play, comes in, puts his team in a position to tie this thing up, if not go for 2 and win the football game after being down when getting in. So he's done everything he's needed to do to give his team a shot. Then you get this delay of game penalty right here. Once again, young buck. They're probably trying to figure out what's the next play. Then now they're pushed back even more. And then you get to a situation where it is 4th and goal from the 11-yard line. Throws the fade ball. It's caught, but a little overthrown. Needs to throw that one a little bit more in bounds, give his receiver a chance. Thrown out of bounds. But I'll say this from the tape that I just watched. Going into this, I thought KJ Jackson had this all sewed up. Here we go. This is what we do. We compete for our jobs. Iron sharpens iron. A really good get right here for Arkansas. I wasn't sure. Now, the only other thing I could do as far as watching film on this guy is go back to his high school tape, which is still kind of hard to figure out. But good get. Great option for Arkansas. Can't wait to see this play out in the spring. It should be a very fun quarterback competition. Yes, I know we got more quarterbacks on the roster as well that we need to take a look at, but I know a lot of people are very interested to see what type of football player this guy A.J. Hill is. And from what we just watched, he has all the tools to be special. It's just how consistent he can be. We haven't had enough sample size to answer that question, but we will find out soon enough. Thank y'all so much for watching our breakdown here this morning. We're going to have more to come on more of these players coming in from the portal. It's been fun. It's been exciting, but we got a lot of work to get to and a lot of players to get to. And let us know which ones you want us to get to sooner than later. I know a lot of people got a lot of question marks about a couple guys. The D-line guys that are coming in from like Oregon and Ohio State, sorry, we're probably not going to get a breakdown on them just because there's no game film on them. They didn't play at all the past year, so that will be tough. Anyway, appreciate y'all. Best way to support 4th and 5 is to hit that subscribe button, please. Always much appreciated. Y'all have a great day.